Here. Go ahead.
Geoffrey Baker's paintings are remarkable works. I think that they compare to any paintings in the world of this genre. An artist that you might compare is Marc Chagall's work. He was very dreamy, paintings that referred to his childhood memories in a almost surrealistic, dreamy way. And Geoffrey Baker's paintings have that same character. I call them impressionistic dream paintings. His paintings are all about his childhood memories and the mythic world that is in his head. They're sort of, you can see that he must have had a lovely childhood in England, and so there's all these memories of childhood and family, and it's just those innocent memories that we all have of being like 4 years old and what the world was like. He captures that, and then he mixes that up with these mythic ideas that are in his head. One of the most significant paintings that he works off of was the painting called Embarkment to Saphira, which was a painting by Watteau, which is one of his most famous paintings. It's in the Louvre, and it's about these people going off on this boat to this magic island. Saphira was where Venus was born, and you're supposedly, if you go there on one of these voyages, you meet your one true love. So it's a very famous painting. It was very popular in the Rococo period in the 18th century. And he liked that. And I think what he liked about it so much, because he mixes that idea up with going off to a perfect place. And so he mixes up the idea of the voyage to Saphira with the dawn of the age of enlightenment, and all of us voyaging together into the realm of enlightenment. And I see that in his work. So some of his paintings sort of are this launching, which he even calls the dawn of an age of enlightenment. But he again and again repeats the theme of the boat launching on a voyage towards the perfect place. And this was another theme that he repeated again and again. He would take a scene and he would repeat that over and over again, each one in a different way. This is called a bathing place, and you'll see that there's a person here. This looks like he might be beating on a drum, but actually, if you see the more realistic version he did, it's kind of a life raft, one of those lifesaver things. Sometimes they're made out of rubber and you can float on them. So these are bathers. His paintings are so full of happiness and delight, and people having a delighted childhood experience, or children bathing. And he's always got these kind of children flying through the sky, or these are divers enjoying the water, flying from the sky. He often has an angel or a child in the sky floating or flying. They're so uplifting and full of light and happiness. This one we see the person playing with the ball and the person with the lifesaver, the child reaching up either towards those people coming, or there's often a boat and a sail. In this case, the sail has become very abstract. And then some dancers kind of on the shoreline. Everyone's having fun. If you come around this way, you'll see the same scene. And it's the person with the lifesaver, the person playing with the ball, the child reaching up. But here the boat is more obvious, and we've got sort of dancers or playful people on the side, this angel child flying in from the corner, and the divers coming down. It's the same painting, only it's addressed with different colors and in a different way. He loved to repeat himself that way. It's like these scenes and these memories and these thoughts just kept coming up, and he just kept repeating these places that were in his dream world. This is an Embarkment to Saphira painting. You see everyone's getting on the boat to go. And let's see if we can find, I don't know if we have another one in this exhibit or not. of those. But that's that theme. This is such a common sort of painting for him to address of childhood memories. With the nanny, this is called playing horsey. So this person's getting down for the child to maybe get on his back and play horsey. But I haven't seen paintings maybe ever that reminded me of the feelings and memories I had of being like 4 years old. And what the world was like. The world was not a difficult material place. It was all made out of color and light. And he's captured that. This one, Nancy, who is the executor of the estate, said that when he was a little boy, his sister painted her glasses with like her mother's nail polish, I think. Painted them red. And so that became a theme that he brought in on many occasions as the kid with the painted glasses. It's another childhood theme. This is, he often has like an angel or a child angel flying through the sky. He'll often repeat this figure of the crawling figure and the reaching, the girl running and reaching up to the sky, and angels in the sky. And this is one that he's simplified down. He was going for more and more distillation so he could say more with less. So he got to a point where he was happy enough that if he caught a feeling with a few strokes, that was good enough. And some of the paintings you'll see he stops maybe even just after the sketch, and he feels like he has it. Here once again we've got the child, we've got the kid in this crouching position. I don't even know where that's coming from. It just appears in every painting almost. Here's a launching to Saphira painting, very sketchy. This one is called The Member of the Russian Royal Family at Odessa. I don't know what to say about that one. It's interesting. Once again, we've got all this lightness and levity of the happiness of flying through the air. And the bathers again. And here we have the childhood memories with the pram and the governess. This is a great example of this feeling of levity and flying, the little children in the air. Here's one that's just a sketch, and he stopped there because he felt like he had just captured that. This is called First Steps. So this child, I don't know where the child is taking the first steps. His drawings are very similar to the drawings of Picasso in the Rose period. I think he studied Cubism, and Picasso had a huge influence on him as a young art student. And he captured that style of drawing. So he would draw like Picasso and then start filling in with color, drawing with a pointed brush. These are early ones. This is an art school piece, probably, or just out of art school, more realistic. He learned anatomy and the picture of his sister up in the corner. He studied portraiture and anatomy and all of the things that students study in art. He went to the art school, a fine art school in England, and he ended up teaching at a very significant school with some very famous people that ended up being very famous artists in England. He taught he worked in his art during the 60s, but then he became involved with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and went off and became a teacher of TM in India with Maharishi. And he spent years working with Maharishi. Then he came to MIU in 1979 and worked in the art department as an art history teacher and as a teacher of studio practice art. He made little tiny gouache paintings for all the years he was here, and that's all I ever thought that he did. I didn't know about these large paintings until after he passed away in 2011, And then Nancy, who was the executor of the estate, brought all those pieces here from England, and they're stored now in a good storage facility here in Fairfield. But that's when just a few years ago is when I first saw these large paintings and was so impressed with his work. This one is the Fall of Icarus. You see that Icarus flew too close to the sun. These mythic stories float in and out of his art. So you see in his mind there's these mythic mythic stories and symbols, and then there's the memories of childhood, and it all get mixed up and comes out in this sort of surrealistic, dreamlike way. The closest artist that I think of when I think of his work is Chagall. But I think his paintings are of that high quality. This is called Rough with Glove and Bone. This was a transitional piece. He did a number of roundabout pieces. You see the roundabout with the horses, just like a merry-go-round that we say in America. He did a number of these. This was kind of a transitional piece, I believe, between the darker pieces of this nature and the more light-filled pieces. I think this is a wonderful painting. Another childhood memory here. This is almost Victorian feeling, and they're darker tones. But see, this is an example of how he would take one scene and then just repeat the scene again, but different. Because this is what's through the window here is different from the window there. The clothing and everything are different, but it's the same setup. But a lot of artists like to do these repeat series things, and so, which is, I think, very enjoyable. So have been so happy to be able to have this work available to show to the Fairfield community who loved Geoffrey so much. He was beloved of all here, and we miss him so much.